as far as in Jordan, an average, I think it's 30 women, an average of 30 women a year are killed in honor killings. Where's the justice in that?
Well, I mean, there isn't any justice there. I don't, you know, the question is, there's no justice. What honor killings, what
well, how does Islam perceive that? How can
Islam has no concept of that. The Christian Arabs do that. Mexicans used to do that.
Mm-hmm. But there are reports of it in other Muslim countries.
There's
reports of it in Pakistan.
This used to happen all over the world. This happened in Christian countries. This is just a situation that existed in many parts of the world. It doesn't justify it, but the fact that it still exists in that part of the world is only indicative of the fact that that familial honor is still an extremely important, if not a central element to those societies. And a woman's chastity is still considered something that is at the essence of the honor of a family, as well as the chastity of a male, but because it tends to be a patriarchal culture, and because of the fact that women, when they lose their virginity, there are generally physical signs of it, and certainly pregnancy can occur, whereas with a man is more veiled than a woman in that situation, but in no way does it mean that a man who commits fornication or adultery is any less condemnable than a woman. Mm-hmm. They're both terrible breaches of divine comportment. But I would say that the Christians have the same concept in their ignorant societies. Arab Christians have done this. There was an Arab Christian that killed his daughter in Chicago. This occurred in the United States. It's a very sick thing to do. I find somebody would have to be a really sick human being to be able to kill their own progeny. But in America, there's been over 20 million abortions. Wow. And the only difference in America is that they say, well, these are unborn. You know, so I think before Americans start pointing the finger at 30 honor killings in Jordan, let's look at 20 million babies that have been killed in America. Right? Really? Yeah. I mean, America is it's a culture of amazing paradox.
Do you believe the fact that women are now allowed to vote in Kuwait, regardless of the outcome, is a encouraging indicator of women's movement here?
Yeah. Well, like the bumper sticker says, don't vote, it only encourages them. I don't know. I mean, you know, the idea of Muslim having a vote or not having a vote, the first country to give women the vote was Egypt in the 1880s. The Americans didn't have, there was one state, I think it was Wisconsin, that gave women the vote in the 19th century. It was the only state. There's only one state in America. You know, maybe all the feminists should move there or something. Yeah. But there's no other, in America, the women didn't get the vote till the 1920s, right? When the Constitution was, there was an amendment to give women the vote. But the idea traditionally in a traditional culture was one family, one vote. Right. That was the idea. It wasn't the idea that women didn't have the right to vote. There was an understanding of a family unit that generally the family would support. And if you have a husband and a wife that are voting for different people, I mean, you've got a serious problem in your family. Right? In other words, there's a real conflict. That is a conflict. Yeah. I think that's a very deep conflict. That's not a superficial conflict. And they should have maybe done a poll before they got married to see how they would vote or something like that, because that's going to indicate some compatibility. And many marriages have ended in divorce because of Republican and Democrat splits. So
do you think that women then shouldn't vote?
I don't. I mean, I think voting, the whole idea of voting is... there's a magical element here, this mystery of... I think that the last election in the United States indicated the reality of the vote in this country. I mean, people are starting to wonder, are we living in a banana republic in the United States? When a presidential candidate can get the popular vote and lose the election well, I have to wonder, well, why am I voting? I mean, seriously, why am I voting? All right? So, I don't know. I mean, if men are going to vote, I think women should vote. Why not? I don't have a problem with that. I think it's just logic. But I think we have to question the entire... See, for me, I want to question the whole system. I mean, federalism is a very strange form of government. I think to have Washington, D.C. dictating how Irvine should run their local... I think people locally should decide their own. People say, well, that's anarchy.
So power should be into the local community.
Definitely.
And not in
I mean, I'm a libertarian when it comes to that type position. You know, just let people locally decide what they need to do. If people locally want to have prayers in school, why can't they have prayers in school? If you've got a 100% Christian community in Idaho, why should the federal government tell them they can't pray 5 minutes before they start their classes? Whereas if you have Hindus and Buddhists and Jews and secular humanists or a Marxist that say they don't want to have that, well, have 5 minutes of silence and everybody can do what they want. You know, they can do their homework or something. But this idea of dictating to people like these paternal wise men, the learned elders, are going to dictate for us how we should run our families and our societies. I think that you're an infant for 7 years of your life, and then you begin to take responsibility. And by the time you reach adulthood, if you haven't worked out what you need to do, you've either been poorly raised or something seriously wrong with you.
What challenges do you think we women face in this society today?
I think women need to decide that for themselves. I think that I would say for me, the challenges that women face are the challenges that men face. We're in this together. We're on the same planet. Half my family, I'm married. I have a wife, and I have children. Her concerns are my concerns, and my concerns are her concerns. And I think if you're in a relationship that's healthy, that's the way it should be. So I think that what's out there in terms of the society is as detrimental to men as it is to women. I really believe that. I think that men are up against as much difficulty in trying to be human in this world as women, if not more. If not more.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you being with us this hour, and thank you very much.
Thank you.